Can you share with us briefly what has been put in place in Brunei to foster the spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation within the education system? Over to you, Adna.
All right. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, thank you, TJ. First and foremost, I think for those of you who have been in entrepreneurship, one of the most difficult parts is how to define entrepreneurship. Because as they say, entrepreneurship could never be taught in class. So I started off as an entrepreneur, then educator, and then now going back to admin. So if there is one particular simulation that I can share with everyone here is, you will never know each and every single one's experience until you go along with them. So I first started heading entrepreneurship back in University of Brunei Darussalam back in 2014. So at that part, it was the higher education. We wanted to test how is entrepreneurship, whether the kids or the students at that time, whether they are aware of what entrepreneurship. This was 7 years ago. So we started off with the faculty of business. We jumped off to faculty of science, faculty of art, not just within one university, but within multi-university, because we had a national entrepreneurship agenda to see before putting entrepreneurship as a focal point. So when we look at that, we did a few bit of trial, like examples, experimentation. We found out that one thing that actually increased the sustenance or the sustainability of any startup or any incubation or any entrepreneurship is multidisciplinary. Because sometimes you always want to wonder, oh, if I come from business school, I definitely would know what a business is. To be honest with you, I have just a limited knowledge and a humble limited knowledge. I would say that we are 50% right. Because to be honest with you, the sustainability that I can see for the past 7 years, I would see that a lot of non-business have been more active, and they know how to do that because they don't take it for granted. But the best part is when you combine them, when you have 2 or 3 disciplines. So my first opening for today, what the ministry is actually having in plan is to have a little bit of good promotion. Promotion, that means entrepreneurship being exposed with the functional knowledge of sustainability when it comes with innovation. So, because to be honest, TJ, if I were to ask you, how would you be innovative today? I would actually be panicking when a kid of 10 years old were to ask me, are you innovative? But the thing is, right, to be innovative to the youngsters, to the young generation, such as Veronica, they would say to be innovative means to simplify things. If I can do it in 2 minutes instead of 5, that's innovative enough. So that's actually something what the ministry has put in place. Awareness in the first beginning of primary, going up to secondary where they can experiment with a little bit of experimentation, whether they can fail or succeed. But at the higher education is where they can actually try it out, get a bit of some dollars in and out where you can lose $50 or $500, but you don't have to incur loans until you make entrepreneurship into an opportunity. To be honest with you, students that we have been incubating at the ministry, at the university, especially University of Brunei, we've actually managed to actually incubate a lot of students from multidisciplinary, and they have been sustaining even 3 to 4 years after the university. I'll stop with that at 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
You are being innovative, Adna. Thank you very much. So perhaps from the perspective of Brunei, especially for your ministry, could you share some of the initiatives that the ministry has embarked on, or perhaps will be kickstarting to ensure that these ecosystems, entrepreneurship, startups, innovation, they remain vibrant and can thrive in a post-pandemic era?
All right, thank you, TJ. The question is a little bit, to be honest, I would need at least 2 hours for this, but since I have 5 minutes now, how to begin? When we try to promote entrepreneurship, it's not just to actually create entrepreneurs. We want the students to become entrepreneurial. In other words, we want them to have entrepreneurial mindset. For that to happen, the students must be able to make sense. Like what they learn is actually applicable in their daily life. If I were to learn about business, example, how to market a certain product, so when I go out after school hours, I can actually help my father or mother or uncle in terms of marketing the product when it comes to the shop outside. That is for the purpose of making money. But at the same time, the purpose of entrepreneurship is also to produce entrepreneurial mindset. We want the student to actually make sense in terms of, oh, I am actually studying science and history and also, let's say, Bahasa Melayu. But how do I become entrepreneurial? How do I make money out of learning all this? To be honest with you, you don't have to make money at every single time, especially when you're in the phase of education. You only know how to make sure that you love learning, you love education, and out of feeling that you love how to actually make sure that all this is happening under the roof of education before you even go out to the phase of employability. So answering what you have, what the ministry is actually preparing now, is to make sure that we have the easy fundamentals so that our kids, our future youths for the next 10 to 15 years, they can feel, they can know, they can test that, oh, I want to be somebody, an entrepreneur. Because to be honest with you, it's seldom we heard when people say, I want to be, people always say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be, those high profession, those are all good. But seldom we heard when students are saying, I want to be an entrepreneur who's actually good in terms of food and beverage. Seldom, because they don't consider that as a profession. But thank you to the government's effort all the way around the world that has acknowledged entrepreneurship as a discipline. So technically what we have to do at the ministry side is to create the awareness, to make sure that IR 4.0, Industry Revolution 4.0, is also part of that. So in whatever things, the syllabus and the syllabus that they learn in school are actually practical and pragmatic. So that's the difficult part, because we do not know how easy and difficult things, because if I go to a class, imagine a scenario, I go to a class in the school and I go and talk about entrepreneurship, people will say, oh, I know business because I'm a shopper. But have you asked the student? But I haven't been a seller. I don't know how much to price this product. So technically, there's a big gap between being a seller and being a buyer. But at the end of the day, one thing that I forgot to mention, entrepreneurship under Ministry of Education is not actually placed under a curriculum department. We are actually standing on our own. That's why entrepreneurship is actually combined with innovation, because to us, innovation is actually the key sustainability that would allow entrepreneurship to actually grow and sustain itself from one to another within different discipline. There's a lot for me to say, to be honest with you, but 5 minutes is all I have. We'll go for Q&A. Back to you, TJ.
Thanks, Adna. We will find the remaining 1 hour 55 minutes in a few other, perhaps other opportunities.